Good afternoon, everybody. So, today's topic is about letting go, and swathes of you have voted for this out of the 3 options that I gave you earlier this week. So thank you, first of all, to everybody who's taken notice of that, and also thank you to all of you so far who've watched my videos, who have commented, who have contacted me personally and given me face-to-face feedback as well. I've really appreciated that. So today's topic is letting go, and that's all the information I gave you, so who knows what we're going to talk about, but this is a really key topic for me for my entire life. It's a real hot topic because it's really had an impact on my life, this concept of letting go, and more specifically forgiveness. And this has context for our whole lives, not just our work lives or not just our personal lives. And for me, it's been an unbelievably powerful thing. And the power of it is that it can actually release you from the stuff that you're hanging on to. So let's get into detail a little bit more with this. So what do I mean by letting go? Well, actually, I was reading Andy Cope's and Gavin Oates' book that's been newly released, Shine, and they talk about letting go in this, and that's kind of triggered me to share some of the experiences I've had over the last couple of years in terms of letting go, or more specifically to do with forgiveness. Now, letting go on a daily basis may mean something quite trivial or quite minor, but if we don't let go, it can have quite a big effect on us. But it also can mean letting go of some really big things that we perceive that people have done to us, that we have been wronged by. And that perception is sometimes quite important, which we'll come back to. So let's think about letting go from an everyday point of view. So imagine you're in a car, somebody cuts you up really dangerously. We can get really embroiled in that and really allow ourselves to indulge in that, get quite frustrated and maybe even become dangerous drivers ourselves temporarily as a result. But actually, how important is that stuff when you think about it? You know, is it not easier just to go, do you know what? You're a bit of an idiot, but I'm not responsible for your behaviour. I avoided an accident in that situation. It's all okay. I'm going to allow myself to just let go of that negative energy and get on with the rest of my day. If you can do that in an everyday sense, that's a really useful thing for you, because it allows your energy to stay positive and for you to not get involved in all of this negative energy. However, sometimes letting go is about much more than that. And we have all had experiences in life where we feel people have wronged us, or they've done things to us that perhaps we wouldn't do to them, that we're disappointed by, that we've been hurt by people. And sometimes that's in a work context. I've experienced this. I've experienced this a number of times, and particularly in my early days, I was regularly disappointed by people. What I've come to realise as I've got older is that people are people, and they do what they do with the resources they have available for them at the time. And you know what? Sometimes people behave in ways that we wouldn't necessarily choose to behave in, and people do things that we wouldn't necessarily do to them. But that's them, that's their choice, and you can't make that choice for them, but you can make the choice to not be affected by it. I've had some experiences that have chipped away at my confidence over the years. In a work context, I've had some experiences that have really potentially, damaged my self-esteem to quite a strong extent. And what I've realised is that the way to get over those things is to actually forgive the people that did those things in the first place. Now, this is an interesting concept because letting go and forgiveness are very much interlinked. I was talking to my dad about forgiveness the other day, and about somebody in my personal life who I'm learning to forgive, and it isn't an easy thing to do. And my dad said, yes, but that person doesn't deserve your forgiveness. And I said, that's not what it's about though, Dad. Whether they deserve it or not, whether we feel they deserve it or not, is not the point. The point is that by hanging on to what they've done, I'm hanging on to negative energy, and the only person that's really getting harmed by that is me. And forgiveness is not for them. It's not about whether they deserve it or not. It's not about saying to them, I forgive you. It's about saying to yourself, I'm allowing myself to not be hung up about this anymore. I'm allowing this to not be a problem for me anymore. You don't have to speak to the person that you're forgiving and actually physically say, I forgive you. They don't have to come to you and say, I'm sorry for what I've done. I acknowledge that I've hurt you, that I've wronged you. That may never happen, and you have to let go of that as well. The power of forgiveness is that regardless of whether that happens or not, you release yourself from the problem that it has caused you. You release yourself from worrying about that, from allowing it to affect your life. And that is huge. So I've written some visuals for you to remember this. Can you read that? Forgiveness equals freedom. And that is such a massively powerful thing. I need to come close to tell you this. Letting go is liberation. Liberation from the negative feelings, from the problems that it's caused you, from hanging on to that. There's so many people that go through their lives and say, I can't be happy because this person did this thing to me. My life has been ruined because this person did this thing to me. Do you really want to let them have that power? That not only have they hurt you in that moment and affected your confidence in some way, but that you claim that as part of your identity and they continue to have that power over you, whether they're in your lives or not? Is that really worth it? If you don't let go and you don't liberate yourself from these things, you are going to limit yourself in terms of potentially your career, your self-development, your well-being, all of those things, your relationships with other people. It's a hugely powerful thing to forgive. It's a hugely powerful thing to let go. It's not an easy thing to do. It's something that you have to truly master. You have to stop wishing that other person bad things. You have to stop thinking about how it's affected you. My dog's barking in the background, so if you hear him, just ignore him. But one last thought I want to leave you with. Some of you may have heard of a lady called Eva Kor, who was known as one of the Mengele twins. Her and her sister in the Second World War were taken away by the Nazis. Her family were taken away and killed in the gas chambers, and her sister had to endure this awful experimentation by the famous Mengele and the Nazis. And she has famously forgiven the Nazis for everything they did to her and her family. That's so huge, I can't even articulate it. I have no idea how she did that, but she's managed to do that. And what she is very open about is the fact that by doing that, she has liberated herself. And what she says is that it's not about whether the Nazis deserve forgiveness. It's the fact that she deserves it, that she's worth that liberation. That's unbelievable, isn't it? So we can probably forgive somebody for cutting us up in the car on the way to work. We can probably forgive somebody for saying something nasty to us. We may even be able to forgive somebody for bullying us at work. It's not easy. But do you know what? If you master it, my God, the power of that. And I'm not saying we have to do anything as big as forgive the Nazis for what they did. But if you can let go of the little things in life, what do you gain as a result? So I'm encouraging you, maybe go and, to liberate yourself and let go. Maybe write that thing, whatever that thing is that's causing you an issue. Oh, that's not work, you can see through the paper. Whatever that thing is that's causing you an issue, write it on a piece of paper, screw it up, chuck it away and literally let go of it. Because that's powerful. Go do it. Go let go of something. Go forgive somebody for something. You don't even have to tell them that you're doing it, but just let it go and see what you gain hugely as a result back, because I bet you anything you gain more than what you let go of. Enjoy your lives, people. See you all soon.